My mother would never talk about her life before she arrived in the territory. She didn't like to remember it, she told me. This was her life now, her only life. When Shonali's husband, Wishbone, shot himself in the chest last winter, Shonali called my mother and asked her to come over. Said she wanted me to come too, had a soft spot for me. We stood in Shonali's driveway. Shonali lit a Virginia Slim and talked about walking a brave line. She wore a leopard dress, blue eyeshadow, and her dead husband's plaid outerwear. A week before, the men of the territory had knocked on her door. It was early November, the middle of the night. The men stood on her small cement porch, all of them looking in different directions. Shonali was confused by the men and so called for her husband. When he didn't answer, she checked their bungalow. Surely he was in it, and this was her worst dream. What is love if not a space for horrors to grow? She said to my mother, and my mother agreed. An accident. He'd been fully loaded. The men tried to explain to Shonali something close to a joke. A woman's despair can be so hard to take. When Shonali was told the next morning the ground was frozen and her husband would spend the winter in the death man's shed, Shonali begged to see his body. She was told no. Once a corpse is handed over to the death man, it is never seen again. But Shonali was already walking away when the men told her that. She knew the rules. Shonali could not stand her widowed self. Enough, she said, and with her widow money, bought 20 jerry cans of gasoline from Traps and an animal print dress from the women's store. She was set to drive the 2,000 miles south to the next nearest town. You're the only one who knows what's beyond the territory. Shonali lifted the tarp and showed my mother her truck bed. It was filled with fuel. I had the crazed heart rate of prey, but was trying to appear cold and bored, like the teen wives on Teen Wives. Arms crossed, eyes half rolled back. As much as I pressed my mother, this was the one line of questioning she would never submit to. What is beyond? You will be a stranger among strangers, my mother said, and I could feel a charge run through her. Why can't a woman be more than one person in a lifetime? She continued. Why can't she be 2 or 3? I will be a stranger among strangers, Shonali motivated herself. And that summer, while I sunburned nearby on an emergency blanket, the heavy dug Shonali's husband's grave, and then Shonali stood over it singing Led Zeppelin with the voice of God. She sang over the drone of the horseflies. Her husband was in the ground. He had a place. She had a place, this savage place, her only place. She didn't want to be a stranger. She wanted to be known.